Hey guys, how are you doing? We have a lot of requests about how to get into different types of inversions, and there's actually two that I want to help you cover today, which is the headstand and the handstands, but ultimately covering how we find balance on our forearm and hands is going to help you in all different kinds of inversions and balancing position wherever you use your forearms or your hands. So stay tuned and stay until the end to find all the little tips that I have for you. So first of all, why going into inversions? There's a lot of benefits into going upside down. First of all, knowing that we spend most of our days standing up, meaning we have gravity taking everything from what is happening upward and pushing it down into our feet, because ultimately, if you look into it, the only system that is influenced by gravity is the lymphatic system. So it's what our body is having excess of and is wanting to get rid of. But if we always take it down into our feet, of course the feet is going to do its job, but allowing also to go upside down into the opposite is ultimately also helping ourselves to deal a little quicker with what we're wanting to get rid of. So this is one really good benefit from going into inversions. There's obviously much more. The simple fact of like having your heart lower than your hips also allows for all of the organ to take a break as well. And ultimately, in ancient Indian philosophy, they do recommend that we go into inversions every day. And this helps us to keep our youth present and just the body feeling alive. So if we were to jump into how finding balance onto our hands, there's a few things I want to cover with you. First of all, having the finger closed, you can see that I don't have much room for support and grounding. So first thing is opening your fingers, opening the fingers and placing down the hands. I see a lot of people pressing down with the tip of their fingers and actually lifting the rest of the fingers off. You want to not do that, because same thing, if I were to bring the weight forward, I have very little strength in the tip of my fingers in order to bring me back. Ultimately, you want to use the majority of your palm to press down and not only compress in the back of the palm, but really share the weight of your body onto your palm, and from there activate the tip of the fingers. And what actually happens, if you look closely, is that my knuckles, they lift off. And it doesn't really matter, because when I'm looking to go into an inversion, I'm looking to bring the floor close to me, and this is the structure that will help me in order to stay up and finding my balance. Whenever we go into an inversion pose, you want to be able to balance the weight from the tip of the fingers and the back of the palm of the hands. And actually, when we look into positions that require the forearm, is the same thing. Pretend that this is the back of the palm and these here are your fingers. And you're similarly trying to look for balance in between elbow and hands, right? So if I were to go into one of my handstand, you'll see that I use a lot the tip of my finger and the back of my palm in order to find my balance. So this is exactly what you want to work on. Best thing to do this is to press the palm of the hand down. If the floor is too far for you, you can bring the floor higher by using blocks or books and just giving this a go, pressing down, allowing for the weight of the body to come forward, and see how much weight you can take on your finger, which is so different than if I was to only press with the tip of my finger and allow the rest of the finger to lift. So when I do this, I actually have much more balance, much more control, and I can ground myself much more. And if I were to go into an inversion, then, not like that, then you could see that I use the tip of my fingers and the palm of my hand in order to find the balance. But obviously it's not super easy to talk and to go upside down in the same time. Another thing that you want to look at is exactly like we were saying before, when you use your forearm. So for your forearm stand, for example, if you're your handstand, and actually there's a very common mistake about headstands, you don't actually use your head very much, because we just place it down as a support, but your hands are what is doing the work for you to stay upright, alongside with your elbows pressing down the elbows and to the earth, pressing down the palm of the hands down is what keeps you up. There's no weight in the head, because ultimately you're hurting your cervicals if you do this. So making sure that you can press up with elbow in hand and not have the weight on your head. So similarly, like I said before, you're aiming to find the right balance between forearm, elbow, and the palm of your hand pressing down. So it's not going to be the palm, but it's going to be the side. And same thing, if I were to just lift my hips up, what happens when I try to go into this inversion is that my elbows open to the side. So another quick and easy but not so easy thing to implement in your body is this action from the rib cage where you're pressing up. And this ultimately allows me to press my elbow into the mat, into the floor, and this is a point of balance that I'm going to be using for all inversions that I do on my forearm. So this little action of pressing up with the rib cage and the shoulders is allowing me to engage my trapezes and my shoulders, and I stay upright without compressing either on my head or compressing on my neck. So give this a go. Let us know how you go. Do go up if you work on your headstand, handstands, or so forth, either with a teacher or with a friend that you can communicate and can help you to see if your alignment is straight, because ultimately the worst thing that happens into inversions is how our hips does. So our hips either goes up and back or around the lower back and forward. And if you were to go into an inversion and do this, it's super hard to find balance. So the main thing you want to work on whenever you go into inversions is keeping your core active, keeping your hip squares, and then working on lengthening the legs up from the hips down all the way up, if I were to be upside down. And similarly from the hips up, I want to press down, either with my elbows, either with my hands, either with both, depending on which inversion you go for. So let us know how this works for your body, and please share with us if you have any other tip or if this worked better for you than another one, and so we can all grow together. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that this video was enjoyable for you and actually helped you to get some more knowledge in yourself, on yourself for your practice. And feel free to subscribe to our channel for more. I'm Ilo from Play Pose B, and I'm very happy to have been here with you.